And Harish Salve is with us tonight. He needs no introduction. Mr. Salve is one of India's foremost jurists, senior advocate, former Solicitor General, King's Counsel, and much more. Mr. Salve, question is obvious. He said, I'm fighting the Indian state. Congress is trying to say, no, you got him wrong again. What's your take?
He's been fighting the Indian state for a while. He's only said it in so many words. What, according to me, as a student of Indian constitutional law, is fighting the Indian state? The Indian constitution is based on the rule of law. I don't think anybody has ever accused the Gandhi family of being great fans of the rule of law. If they were, the emergency wouldn't have happened. But let's put that to one side. The declaration that India is a diverse society and its resources must be distributed in accord on caste lines or on lines of people's poverty or some other such distinguishing factor, which basically means take the money from those who create wealth and distribute it to those who do not have wealth. Now, how do you do that consistent with the rule of law? So you don't do it. How are you going to do it? You are fighting against the nation. You are fighting against the notion of statehood. If our state is a democratic sovereign republic based on the rule of law, you can't have this kind of narrative going on. The second narrative, caste census. The third narrative, you carry a book of constitutional law in your hand and talk of increasing reservations when the Supreme Court's definition of fairness under Article 14 and 15 on balance has been reservations must be contained within 15%. Now, what you're saying is, I don't care what the constitutional authority who has the last word on constitutional interpretation says.
Yes.
I say this is not fair. And if the Supreme Court says this is not fair, I don't care. I'm protecting the Constitution as I read it, not as the Supreme Court interprets it, which means you're above the law, you're above the institutions. So this has been going on for a while. And it's consistent behavior. When somebody says India is not a nation, it's a union of states, I would say it betrays ignorance of basic principles of political constitutionalism. So you have somebody who's obviously either he's being advised or he's being tutored or whatever. Now, that's a political discussion which you will have the moment I leave space. But as a citizen of India and as a student of constitutional law, we have this serious threat, and we have this sitting in our parliament. But I think our constitution is so robust, and our institutions by now have become so robust. His fighting the Indian state is going to be a battle which he will sooner than later regret.
Ladies and gentlemen, with us tonight live is Harish Salve, and the subject of discussion tonight is the alarming comment of Rahul Gandhi, where he has declared a war against the nation by saying that he is out to fight the Indian state. In other words, he's saying the Congress party should be fighting the Indian state. This is not a critique of the government. Now, Mr. Salve, my second and last question to you is this, that their defense is that, look here, we are not bothered about whether this aligns with separatist narratives. We believe that the Indian state is oppressive. And it's oppressive, so it's illegitimate. Right? It's illegitimate in our eyes, our beliefs, and hence we reject it, and hence we are going to fight it. Your response to that defense they are putting out tonight?
Yes. So I heard just now, a moment ago, I hadn't heard it before, the clip which you played.
Yes.
And his point is that the BJP has captured, it's a strong word to use, but let's go with his word, captured all institutions. How have they done it? They have not done it by a constitutional coup. They have not done it by a coup against the constitution. They fought the elections. They won fair and square in 2014. They won in 2019. And they're back in power in 2014. His attempts at trying to get into power have failed. If BJP has control over the institutions as he suggests, I'm putting to one side the validity of this assertion.
Yes.
And if it does, it has this control because it is the elected government in office. Now, if his attempts to get elected are failing, he says, I will have to fight the system from outside by dismantling a system by which BJP is getting elected, which means you do not believe in electoral democracy. Now, whether you bring in the Bangladesh model or you sit with people who are willing, or you invite others to interfere and say, you must do something, please help me, because elections I have not been able to win. You have to get these chaps out of office and make space so that somebody else can come in. That means you're basically saying, I don't like the Indian voter, I don't believe the Indian voter. I know the interest of the Indian voter better than the Indian voter knows himself. And therefore I am at war with the Indian voter. He's voting the wrong people in, so I'm going to fight the state itself. So it's the right thing he has said. This is what he's been pursuing. And I think he has only put it in one sentence. He has been saying it, and his party has been standing for this for a while.
Harish Salve has put out an excellent analysis of this tonight. Mr. Salve, always such a pleasure to have you right on top of the show this evening. Harish Salve, thank you very, very much. And
Arnab, I don't like getting into political controversy.
I know you
But
don't.
I'll tell you, and I don't understand politics. But when things are said which make me worried about where Indian democracy is headed, on the one hand, India's going from strength to strength. And then when you have things like this, especially the bigger we grow, the more foes we have outside India. Believe me, countries like the United States, Canada, even Europe are not very happy at where we are.
No, not at all.
Our big brother neighbor, China on top of us, is not happy where we are.
I agree with you.
And they will be happy. Today, the most delighted at this narrative will be the guest with whom you were having a sharp discussion yesterday.
That's why I'm not putting you with them, but I just add to what you said. It's my own view, Mr. Salve, that as we go from 3, 4, 5, 10 trillion and 20 trillion, we will stop being a subject of interest to being a direct competitor, and all claws will be out, and Rahul Gandhi is becoming a useful tool for these people.
All claws are already out.
Already out.
And this is where we as Indians, if we are not sensitive to where our own, today, the guests whom you had yesterday, you know whom I'm talking about.
I know.
Whom you were discussing the ... They will be most happy at this narrative.
No, we're concerned.
So we have to be careful about this.
We're concerned. I'm going to take this clip of our chat, put it on digital media, put a vote on it. And if you want to respond to Harish Salve directly, I'll take your messages and send it across to him as soon as I can. Mr. Salve, thank you very much once again.